We own $47 million worth of real estate and haven't used a dime of our own money to do it. And it all started with this very, very first rental property we're getting ready to go over. A lot of things went wrong. We had to pivot. We did a ton of work ourselves. It was a complete mess, but we made it work. And then now we have over $200,000 in equity. So, Lucas, I'm going to open the story up and you fill in the gap. So, in general, Lucas and I visited over 35 properties. We had 22 banks tell us no before we got this very first deal. So it did not fall into our laps.
Yeah.
Like the stripper did on your bachelor party. This did not fall into our laps.
She did not.
I know, I'm kidding. Hopefully Ashley's listening so I can get you a little bit of trouble.
And the funny thing about this house is we still had our plan of 10 houses in 10 years, but it was going to take us 20 houses to get there.
Yep.
Because we had to flip one, make profit, and use that profit as a down payment on our rental.
So our plan on this one was to buy it, fix it up, sell it, take the profit,
very
and put 20% down. Because we didn't know. I knew you could borrow money to flip a house.
Yeah.
Watch Flip or Flop, all those shows on HGTV. They borrow money from their rich friend, and then they, or thought at the time, borrow money from the rich friend and split the profit. So I knew you could do that. So our goal was to buy a house, fix it up, sell it, pay your lender back, take the rest of the profit, put 20% down, because we didn't even have 20% down for a $100,000 house.
So mid rehab, we met the great Brian Schroeder, and he told us about this little hack, and then we kind of took it to the next level and did a couple hundred of them, and created a course around how to do it yourself too. So the cool part about it is, like, you don't have to have the money to build a rental portfolio. You don't have to put a down payment every time, but you have to find distressed properties at a discount. So that's why we knew we were looking for a discount. We just didn't know we could turn that exact property into a rental property. But we were looking for rundown houses because we wanted to make a profit to flip.
Yes. So, and I remember specifically, we bought the property. We were just beginning the rehab. We were doing as much work as we could. We were going evenings, weekends. Yes. There, 15 hours a weekend. We were there every single weekend. You had your routine of going to get your butt sauce, freaking Quick Trip breakfast, right?
So good.
And then go and we'd work for 15 hours every single weekend. And in the middle of that, we met a local wholesaler, worked for FasterFreedom, a company we now own. We went to go visit him at his office to talk through us, getting us more deals and what we were looking for. And we ran into Brian. And we told him our plan, like, we want to buy rentals, but we're flipping this first one because we don't have down payment. And he said, why don't you just refinance it? Why don't you just go to a bank and get a refinance for 80% of it and pay your lender that way? We're like, what does that even mean? It sounded like he was speaking Japanese, but we broke it down and understood it and asked him questions, and that's the start of it all.
That is the start of it all. Can I take it back one more time? I know we're going a little bit out of order here, but looking for that property, like you said, 35 plus properties we looked at, and we barely knew what wholesaling was at this time. I think we had a relationship with one or two people, not even a relationship. I think we were getting sent deals from one or two other local wholesalers, right? So
Shalisa.
That could have been during
that was our time. Second deal.
Yeah.
Villadonna was Shalisa. That's what we used to pay back Steve. We'll get into that, but yeah.
For sure. So I think there was a couple other ones that we were sent deals and we looked at that never worked out at the beginning there. But the majority of these deals that we're looking at were on the MLS. It was 2014. The market not quite, definitely hasn't recovered yet, and a lot of bank-owned properties still out there on the market, and we didn't have our license, so my mother-in-law recently got her license, shout out Robin, so she would show us 5 houses a week on this, and it took us at least 7 weeks to go find a deal. I think it took us
a while. We looked at a lot. You looked at some. We looked at some together.
I think it took us like 4 months.
Took us a while. We looked at a ton of them. We bid some, didn't get. We didn't really understand. And some of them, we were, a part of it was our private lender gave us $100,000 line of credit. He's like, well, I'll give you $100,000. I remember looking at some houses that we had to buy for like maybe 95 and needed 30 grand. We couldn't do it, so we had to find something. And back in this day, it wasn't near as hard as it is now, as far as because the price points have almost doubled. But we were trying to find a house we could buy and fix up for under $100,000. So that was part of the
buy and fix up.
That was part of the constraint.
And especially this area, you'll see the numbers here in a minute, but this now it would be a dream to even buy something at this price, much less buy and fix it up for under $100,000. But anyway, I think it was listed for like $70,000. We offered like $80,000. we offered 75, and they countered at 77, and we took it.
Yep. So we bought it for 77. We got $100,000 from a private lender. We bought it for 77,000, and it needed about $35,000 worth of work.
Gotcha.
Rating our initial numbers, and we didn't really know, but looking back, that's what it needed. But we just rolled up our sleeves and did the sweat equity side to get it under $100,000. We tore down the cabinets. We did a bunch of, I remember both of our parents coming out and helping out. I remember doing the landscaping, cutting down like big stuff with my dad and trenching out like the stuff. So we did a lot of it ourselves to get it under that $100,000 mark. You were like, wait, what? But you get it now.
Yeah, we definitely did. Yeah, I think we met one of our contractors that we ended up using for a long time at this first house, and he did some stuff that we didn't necessarily know how to do, like hang the cabinets and some other little
countertops.
Countertops we didn't know. So we hired a little bit out, just small pieces, but we did the majority of this.
And we became experts, and Lucas was a huge expert at like going in the attic. So Lucas was so good at walking the attic of this place. So
yeah, it had some sort of electrical issue or something.
So you went
so
up
I
the
was
attic.
up there with our contractor looking at the electric issue, and I did not know that you had to step on the trusses.
Yeah, the ceiling truss. Yeah,
the truss. So
Where'd you step?
I just thought you could step on the drywall and it would support you. And
what happened?
I fell right through, and my leg got caught in the truss, and I was like sideways, hanging upside down over the bathtub through a giant hole in the ceiling.
Yep, you're not a little human.
Yeah, I messed up my knee pretty good for a
Didn't
while.
Didn't tear your meniscus or something?
I think my MCL was damaged for a long time.
You probably still feel a little bit. So Lucas stepped through that drywall right.
Yeah, fell right through.
Straight away.
Well, I learned that lesson.
As Bluey would say.
I just didn't go in any attics after that. But anyway, that was funny. Welcome to the marriage.
Oh, my boy Jeff. So no, so a lot of fun stories about that. We bought it. We were fixing it up. We did as much as we could. We had some contractors that we hired. I remember another story, Lucas. We were trying to get the sewer. I'm trying to blank and stack. We're trying to get the stack going, and we I remember there was like a hole like corrosive at the bottom of the stack, and we were trying. Danny, our buddy and CFO now, he was we had to end up getting a permit, but he was trying to like put some coupling on the bottom to keep from leaking. And my mother-in-law was there, and she like peed and flushed the toilet, and when he was down there and got like pee water all over his hands, and he's like, pee sterile, I don't care. But anyways, a lot of interesting things happened on that very first deal. That's so fun.
Yeah,
it was fun, and it sucked, and it was fun all at the same time back when we were doing it. There's just so much that you learn and don't know going through. Like, you're not going to experience that unless you actually do it.
No, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, we're in the middle of the rehab. We decided to execute the burrs and keep this as a rental. So we have to find a finance partner on the back end of this thing. So luckily we each have W-2 jobs at this point. So getting a rental loan shouldn't be a huge deal.
Nope, it shouldn't be.
But you got to find the right bank that understands what you're looking for and likes to lend on this product. So we're calling literally every bank in the world. Like, we start with the highest level. I'm calling Bank of America, trying to explain this
Rocket
process.
Mortgage, give me a commercial loan.
Rocket Mortgage, U.S. Bank, Chase, like all these giant banks that just don't make sense at all. So
they didn't even know. The people I talked to didn't even know what I was talking about.
No, me neither. We probably explained it terribly.
Oh, we didn't explain it right. B, they didn't. Even if we did explain it right, they didn't know.
Right. So so we started real big, and then we kept kind of working down regional, and then we got to finally made some good connections in our local market. So that's why we love local banks so much. They understand this type of product. How many branches you think, Sam? Like 5 to 20 branches is your sweet spot, and that's what we found. We had one bank say yes and give us a shot. And what happened after that, Sam?
Well, we real quick to take a step back, as you say, because you used to be a little bit better from like if your feet were like an inch behind the 3-point line, you were a little bit better like a foot behind the 3-point line.
Yeah, I'd rather scoot back a little.
Just
further.
A little bit, not like you weren't like
about 3 feet. Good too.
Wet. Yeah, not at all. But anyways, a little bit further back. Just let's use your legs a little bit more.
Yeah, I like that.
But anyway, so let's take a step back. We almost lost my train of thought doing that. But we went to all these banks. We didn't really understand the process properly. And trying to get it lost because of my example. But we'll just keep rolling through.
Okay.
So we went to the bank.
Yep.
We had I don't remember exactly. I think around 99,000 in it. So we bought it for
that's about right.
78-ish, whatever, 77. We got 22,000 in. So we have $99,000 of the $100,000 the private lender gave us money in the deal. We took the bank to the local bank. That's what I was going to say. Brian gave us this. He said, go to this bank. So literally just having a conversation with somebody that's done it. And like this, we're telling you this, like just 2 conversations, refinance it, go to this bank, completely changed everything.
Yeah.
So anyways, we went to this knowledge. That's leveraging. We leveraged his knowledge to completely do a 180 in what we were going to do. The bank appraised the property for $125,000.
Yeah,
which is great.
Which is great because they were going to give us a loan for 80% of that, which
is
also great.
$100,000.
$100,000. So how are we going to pay back the private lender? What he gave us $100,000 plus interest, which was about another $4,000 at the time.
So we owed our private lender $104,000, and we were only able to give him $100,000. The good news is private lenders are relational based, so we were able to kind of build that relationship, and we had the relationship already, so he understood the process. He kind of was keeping tabs on things. And the fact that, I think, Luke's, the fact that we got him his principal back was huge.
Yeah.
If we weren't able to get him his full principal back, I feel like
a little bit of interest, wasn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
So we're $800.
Yeah. So if we weren't able to do that, I think things will look
principal
differently.
preservation is huge for a lot of these private lenders.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Principal preservation, private lenders, Pringles.
Yep. Pilgrims.
People.
Principles.
Pronouns.
Pronation.
Principles. Princesses.
Primary residence.
Princes.
Prince of Egypt.
Poop. All right. So we were able to get him his principal back plus a little bit of interest, and we owed him about $4,000. And we weren't going to take it from our personal, even if we had it. We didn't have a business account.
I probably had like $1,500 in my checking account at the time.
So we couldn't. We couldn't pay him back. So. Fortunately, Shalisa, who I talked about earlier, we had another property under contract, and that property was a home run.
Yeah,
we had so much equity in there, and so deep, you know nothing about that, but so deep that we bought that thing super deep, and we told him that we would pay him, I think, like from his 8% to 10%. We're going to be a little bit a higher return if we can roll this into the next deal because it's out longer, and he let us. And that next deal, we bought it so well that we were able to give him money, principal and interest back on that deal, plus the interest from this deal,
and we still cashed out.
And we still cash flowed probably $7,000 to $8,000 out. Yep,
we did. That was a deep deal, dude. We bought this house for $77,000. We bought that house for $44,000. 42. I think it was 42.
I think it appraised for like 88 or 92. And we put like 10 in it.
I don't even think we put that much because we did all the work again.
Yeah.
So we just bought the paint, some flooring, and it was in much better shape than the other house. We didn't redo the kitchen.
No.
So it was good. We painted it all.
In February, we painted the outside of the house in one weekend.
One day.
I'm sure we did. I'm sure there's like paint, or there's
I haven't been back there in a while. I haven't had any calls. Like that paint job, that Sherwin-Williams paint is holding up. Shout out Sherwin-Williams.
Well, I'm sure it's holding up, but it's probably not like solid. There's probably like brush strokes and stuff in it.
We rolled it.
Some of it, I think you have to anyways.
Nah, we just jammed it under there.
You're good at doing that.
But,
so anyways,
one final story for Saturn, our very first rental property. Yep. So, we found a property management company, right? It was like, hey, we think you could rent it for this, and it was like $300 lower than what we thought we were renting for. We're like, can we please try for this because we needed this to cash flow, and we ended up getting what we thought we could get. But in order to move somebody in, we had to pass a municipality inspection.
Occupancy
inspection. So you were there with the guy, I remember, and he pointed out like 100 things that we had to do before the tenant was going to move in, like in a couple days or something like that. And you were so flustered.
I was because it was cold out. He was there. He was there to be support. And I was like, he's like, you don't have like a hose bib, so he's in back. That's cold trying to get the hose bib in, and I'm trying to like tuck like a wire for the garage door opener like in some like coil, like tuck it so it's and then like there was like a gap between like the ceiling in the basement and the first floor that had to be fire caulked. It was just a mess.
We've only had one tenant move out of that house.
Yeah, that's
been two tenants.
That's why we don't have any
years.
Updated pictures really, because it looks.
Which we'll get to that.
So that's two tenants in
10 years.
10 years.
Yeah.
That's how you cash flow. So now property's worth 125. We paid our private lender back. We made that all work. We owed 100. So there's 25 grand equity. We cash flow a little bit every single month. Now,
which is beautiful. That is the house that made me from a negative net worth to a positive. And I was like, whoa.
Just one property.
One property.
And we were able to make it work. And it was messy, but it was fun. And we learned a lot. And it kind of whet our appetite a little bit. Like, we can do this at scale. We did this. We did so much of this wrong, and it still worked out. And now, so just to quick juxtapose what real estate can do for you, it's worth 125 then. Now, I'm pretty confident that it's worth about $225,000, and we used to owe 100, and now we owe about 65,000. So we went from 25 grand equity to $120,000 equity in one property. Yes, it's been 10 years, but that's 120 grand is the average. I don't remember. I think it's the average 401k or IRA, one of the two. But the average like retirement account in this country we got in one property bought using none of our own money. It was a super low price point. Like now you can't even get into it for that much.
Yeah, and we rented it out for, I don't know, $10.95 or something. I think the Zestimate rental is like $1,500. Do we want to pull that up now?
Yeah, if we can.
Yeah. So this is super basic, like Sam said, with no professional pics at all. If you're watching us on any of the video platforms, but the Zestimate is $2,075,
which is not accurate.
We could go in there and spend $5 or $10 grand and list it for $230 right now, probably. The rent estimate's probably a little low, but still, $1,000 to $1,500, like that just helps your cash flow as well. So we like to say, the day one you buy a property is hopefully the lowest cash flow day, and your smallest equity day. So. Love it. Got some pictures there. Those are probably from our phone.
From the very first time. So
we did not learn much. Obviously, we learned a lot since then. So please take professional photos for your rental listings. And man,
it's a cute little house. I love it.
I love that house.
I'd like to own that one in 30 years.
I'd like to own thousands of those, man.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And apartment complexes.
Yeah, and apartment complexes.
So cool. So that's our very first property.
We own our first property still.
We made it happen, and we got a lot of equity in it.
Probably wouldn't sell that just from the sentimental
nostalgia
purposes,
of it,
for a long time.
Yeah, probably not. No, especially because it's a great little area. And it's going to do the whole rule of over doubling in value in 15 years, like real estate does. So it's going to do all that. So great property, a ton of lessons learned, great fun experiences, and that was the building block. That was the start of everything. Yeah. So that we just kind of grew. Why do you have that 100 on there?
I was hiding the answers from you because I know you like to peek.
Yeah, so much so.
It worked.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
We'll do it again next time.
And you did. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Make sure to hit that like button, comment with something you learned, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. We give away more free advice on how to create wealth based on things we actually do every single day than any other channel on YouTube. Make sure to share this with a friend because our mission is to inspire you to think differently about freedom.